It's Kelly Clarkson here to talk all things Wayfair, the best place to buy furniture, decor, and anything else you can think of to create a home you absolutely love. I know when I shop with Wayfair, I find options for every style, whether I'm feeling boho or farmhouse, modern, traditional, French country. I can find exactly what I need for my home and more. No matter your space, style, or budget, shop Wayfair.com to make your home way more you.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things.
Ray! Do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock! Ray! Do the hammerlock, you turkey necks! Yeah, do the hammerlock! I do the hammerlock!
Everybody's doing it. Hello! Hi pals, welcome to Wrestling Art with Chris Things. The podcast. I am Chris of the Chris Things Brian, and I'm here with you another week to chat a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of art, a little bit of week in the life of a wrestling art dude. But I'm pleased to have you here. This is the show where we have our match of the week special. It's back. This is the one where we talk about my match of the week gimmick that I do every week. I pick my favorite professional wrestling match that I happen to watch and very much enjoy. So much so that I make an illustration of it. I post it to christhings.com.au, to Instagram at christhings. And yeah, people seem to dig it. I make prints available of such things. And then I come on this podcast and I talk about the matches with some of my favorite pals from all around the world. And we just get to nerd out about it. So it's a good time. We've fallen a little bit behind here. I believe currently we're up to this Friday I'll be releasing Match of the Week number 103, which is wild. Today we'll be talking about matches of the week 96 through 98. And we got some doozies, guys. But this one, I'll be being joined by my dear pal David, all the way from the UK. And we'll be talking about some wonderful matches that he happened to be here for, that I actually showed at Wrestling Club, a little in-person event that we do at the Scratch pretty well every month. So two of these matches were from one of those nights that he actually got to come along to, so I thought very fitting we got to have David on the show. And as I mentioned in the interview, this is round two of attempting to do this show. We tried to do it a few weeks ago, and technical difficulties made it so that we recorded the entire thing, and then his audio just didn't record whatsoever, so it was just totally lost. So this was just making up for it. So I think it has a fun energy from that standpoint. But anyway, before we get into that, I thought I'd have a little chat with you guys about the week that's been in the life of the Chris Things. Got two dogs there in the background, making a lot of noise, as always. Height of professionalism here. Oh, Badger. But yeah, so this past week's been pretty great. Come on, Badger. Please. You're being ridiculous. Alright, hopefully she's done. So, this week was very cool for me because I got to have the opening night of a group art show in Mexico City that I was absolutely delighted to be a part of. I spoke about this on the last week's show, I believe, but it was so cool to see. It was in the Museum of Pulque y Pulquerias, and it was a Virgin Saint Luchadores concept show that my dear pal Portavaritas, very talented artist himself, put together. But it was so cool to see the opening night of the exhibition. Sadly, I wasn't able to be there in person, being down here in Australia. It's a little bit of a trek to make it to Mexico, though I wish I could have. I very much hope to be back in Mexico as soon as possible. But yeah, even just like seeing the pictures and seeing a bunch of other extremely talented artists, their work and their take on the concept was so darn cool. Just made me so happy to be a part of it. It's still like so surreal for me as such a big time fan of Mexican wrestling, to actually get to be part of art shows in Mexico as an Australian gringo. It's just the coolest thing ever. And the more I find out about like the Mexican like lucha art scene, the more I'm just blown away by the level of talent. And I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily aware of it, but just so many extremely talented people in that scene that, you know, I want to do what I can to try to help give a bit more of a, international audience to. I mean, it's not like I, have that much reach or whatever, but, anything I can do, So I've had a few great lucha artists on in previous episodes. If you'd like to go back in the archives and check out my interview that I did with Eric Jam, so much talent on that dude, and that was a really fun chat. Same with Portavaritas. And I hope to continue that on and get to chat to more, like lucha artists, because like I said, I think it's such an interesting scene. The language side of things can sometimes make it a little bit tricky, but we'll see how we go. What I've found so far is a lot of my Mexican amigos think that their English isn't very good, but I'm blown away by how good it is. And if we need, Portavaritas has very kindly offered doing some translations for chat, so that might be a thing too. So let's maybe look forward to that in the near future. Other than that, I am stoked to have another big event coming up this weekend in Brisbane. The Brisbane Illustration Fair is something I'm going to be doing this weekend. A big old weekend, big Saturday, full Sunday, at the Brisbane Showgrounds. So this is maybe like the fourth or so annual event that the Brisbane Illustration Fair has done. First one that I've been able to be a part of. The last one I believe I was in Mexico for. The one before that I think had some sort of other clash, but I'm stoked to actually finally be a part of it. I have a few of my arty pals that I believe are going to be part of it as well, so be in good company there, and I'm just always super excited for these events to just see the Brisbane art scene, a scene that I'm very, very proud of, very proud to be a part of. Just to see the amount of people and different styles of art and different niches of art. So far, I believe I'm the only one holding up the wrestling art niche. The day that I go to one of these events and I'm not the only one will be a bit weird. But anyway, I'm happy to be representing the wrestling art niche proudly. It's always fun at these events. It's a lot of people who don't necessarily may not even be the biggest fans of wrestling per se, but it's always a massive compliment for me when my wrestling art can appeal to those outside of the bubble. But I mean, that being said, please don't think that it is any less special for me when I have people that are just massive big time wrestling nerds like myself come along. That always makes me so happy to get to have a little wrestle chats. And same thing, when like people buy my art online, or commission me to do stuff from all over the world, just makes me so happy to get to have that that passion that we share about something. And I put my passion into making pretty pictures of this stuff, and people seem to dig it, and can be a good way to celebrate their fandom of such a niche interest as professional wrestling in the overall scope of things. So I'm very looking forward to that one. And then other than that, I've been sort of rounding out the rest of my schedule. We've got the Lucha Fantastica Dia de los Muertos tour coming up, the big Day of the Dead tour. They do such a good job of theming these things. The last one, they did an excellent job of like sort of a circus carnival variety show theme. This time round, as I mentioned, Dia de los Muertos. So one of the coolest, special Mexican culture days on the calendar. And I am so excited to get to have my Chris Things table as a little part of that. They've even got like an altar. They do like blessings. El Fantastico does an amazing job. Like it's dressed up in complete Signor Fantastico. Sorry. Very, very embarrassing there. Completely kitted out in like the Day of the Dead outfit. Like, oh man, it's such a good time, and so cool to get to see like so many Mexican Australians get to celebrate their Mexican culture. In Australia. I think that's honestly such a wonderful thing for people that have migrated from different parts of the world to still be able to be connected and attached and proud of their culture. And it wasn't always like that here in Australia. I grew up with a lot of Italian friends or Greek friends where I grew up in Victoria, who definitely, at school and that kind of thing, weren't able to be proud of their culture and were made fun of for it and called all sorts of nasty stuff. So makes me very happy to get to be part of something that is like a celebration of that kind of culture, rather than, what a lot of other people around the world have to experience. So anyway, very, very excited about all of that. Another thing that I just happened to come across in my week of research of whatever it is I'm getting into that I thought might be fun to bring up on this podcast was I was doing some research and I came across a wrestling artist that I thought might be interesting to chat to you guys about. I'm not sure if everyone here is aware, but so there's a weird fusion of comic book art and the world of professional wrestling, and especially in the early 90s period. There's some fantastic like WCW comic books that I absolutely adore. The artwork in those is just incredible. A lot of the promotional artwork from this time in both WWF and WCW actually featured like hand-generated art, which is obviously something very important to me, and something I always really loved. But I never really got to hear the stories of the people who made the art. It was almost like they had it, and then it's just like, oh yeah, just someone did this, some unnamed person. So I feel like it's cool today. Let's give a little bit of a shout out here. I came across this in just general looking about things, but there was a incredibly talented artist called Joe Jusko, who I was not aware of. Has actually apparently done heaps of different stuff with comics, with DC Comics, like Innovation Comics, all sorts of stuff. He's been a cover artist for all sorts of things, of different Marvel characters. Like very, very acclaimed comic book art dude. But he actually was the artist who did the artwork that I think might be close to a lot of people's hearts. The 91 and 92 Royal Rumble posters. So these were the ones that had sort of like a Gangs of New York, like street gang kind of motif thing, where the entire roster is like marching down a road, ready to bust up some thugs. And I always thought this artwork was absolutely incredible. Never knew who made it. It just absolutely wonderful stuff. So apparently Joe Jusko was the guy who did it. From, I believe it was a job that just came along from like an ad agency. I'm not even aware whether this guy is in any sense an actual wrestling fan, which kind of makes it even better, to be honest. Kind of like, Jim Johnson doing like some of the most, like classic professional wrestling themes of all time, and then like not even really particularly liking wrestling. I always thought that was hilarious. But yeah, so he did these, the 91 and 92 Rumble posters. Also did the 92 or 91 WrestleMania poster with like a crazy muscled up Hogan like waving this American flag, the most gaudy display of patriotism ever, and a few other different bits and pieces, and that was kind of it. When he wrapped it up, I think they passed it to someone else who kind of mimicked that style, I guess. But yeah, just such like a sort of, there's a hyper-realism kind of element, but just like with this surrealistic, bizarre, really bright colors, really crazy, like popping muscles, like, just such a classic visual part of the presentation of WWF in those years. So I thought it was cool to find out that actually there's an artist behind that. There's this Joe Jusko fellow. And apparently doing these posters, the not-so-great element, as you can probably imagine, was being art directed by Vince McMahon Jr. I can only imagine what an awful client that guy would have been. Just an absolute control freak, and apparently I was correct in this assumption. Apparently, there's a great thing on comicartfans.com where Joe Jusko has like a art gallery on there, which I'd highly recommend checking out. He's actually shared a few of his different examples of the work that he did for WWF on there, as well as some of his comments from the job. And his one for the 91 Rumble poster really tickled me. It says, "This was a really fun job, except for the countless changes that Vince kept asking for. Move Earthquake's hand 1/4 inch. The Ultimate Warrior's hair isn't poofy enough. Overall, I really like this piece." I do too, Joe. So good. Man, if maybe I'll reach out to this guy. Maybe I'll see if Joe Jusko has some free time if he wants to come on the podcast and chat about this incredible series of artwork that he made. Anyway, I thought I'd just get into that because it was on my mind. Don't know if this will be a regular part of the show, but it brought me a lot of joy. Anyway, I think that's about enough of my lollygagging. Time for some match of the week. Goodness, if y'all would like to check out the matches of the week that we are talking about, christhings.com is the place to go. You can check out the match illustrations that I've done, that I'll be talking about a little bit, as well as my write-up of the match, and just have a little, wander through some of the different matches of the week as well, if you'd like. It can be a fun thing to get you down some interesting wrestling rabbit holes. And of course, all of my prints can be purchased on there, whether they're the HQ basic prints that are priced as affordably as from just 25 clams, or the premium fancy art prints that I have printed up from my speciality art printer here in Brisbane on museum grade textured cotton rag art stock, nice thick 300 GSM paper. And then I'll hand sign it, send it out to you, include a little surprise with it most of the time. And yeah, it's always a nice thing when I get those orders come through and I get to send them out. But yeah, have a little gander, a bunch of my other original art on there. Always appreciate the support, guys. And I would like to think for the wrestling fan in your life, they might make a tasty little Christmas gift as we have that time of year coming up. Anyway, I'm off sales mode. That's it. Let's get into our match of the week chat with David. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back for another Match of the Week edition of the podcast, and an interesting one today, as I am joined once again by my best pal in the whole wide world, David. Welcome to the show, my dude.
Thanks for having me on, Chris. It's great to be here as always.
Dude, so good. And as I was saying, I got an interesting one this week, because we tried to record a podcast a couple of weeks ago to talk about two of these matches, and I think it was maybe the greatest podcast episode of this show that has ever been done. Some real magic there that sadly did not record. So we're here to do it again today.
We got too lost in the sauce.
We did. I don't know whether, like I was saying before, it just wasn't meant to be, or what the deal was. But here we are again. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of in-jokes that we're going to be laughing at and thinking are hilarious, that anyone listening to this will be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think we'll be able to take them by the hand and guide them through it, Chris.
All right,
and
if you
don't pick up on it, honestly, at this point, it's your own fault.
Yes. Blaming the listeners is a great way to start any podcast, I'd say.
Oh, all right. Let's get into it, Chris. Let's get into your match of the week.
So yeah, it's going to be fun. I think this might be, of all of the bloody over 100 episodes, I don't even know how many episodes of this podcast we've done so far, but however many it is, I don't think we've ever had one where we've had to full-on, re-record an entire show. So I don't know if this is going to, take away a bit of the spontaneity, or maybe it'll add a level of hilarity. We'll see how we go.
I think the little gap we've had in between there, we've had 2 weeks in between recording these two. I think we'll be able to rediscover the magic.
I believe so. I believe that too.
Yeah, let's lean beyond, Chris. It's all coming back.
Heck yeah. So for today, we are talking about the two great matches that we attempted to talk about a couple of weeks ago, as well as another one to keep it fresh. So our three, we got match of the week 96 through 98. So we're starting out with the tremendous. We actually got two Wrestling Club editions of the match of the week series. So these were two that I was very enthused to be chatting it up with you, because we got to be at this wrestling club together, my dude. That being KENTA versus Tenryu and Masato Tanaka versus the Gladiator Mike Awesome from their Heatwave ECW pay-per-view debut.
Yeah, two amazing matches to see. Honestly, the wrestling club, that was my first wrestling club. I've known it's been going on for a while.
It was
Just
very
it's
special for me to have you there, by the way. As I said in
yeah.
our wrestling club intro, that fateful night,
Mm.
in a lot of ways, the entire wrestling club concept was, based off of our many a night together, smoking a doobie, watching some rad wrestling in my living room,
I
and
mean,
now
stuff
we
like
get to
that.
do it in a bar.
Yeah, well, like stuff like that, like experiences like that, that deserve to be shared. And I'm so glad that there's other people out there that are having like so much fun with you, coming out to the wrestling club, enjoying the wrestling, and then also having other people come down the bar and going, "Oh, what's going on here?" And then you talk to them about wrestling, and half the time you just expect them to go, "Oh yeah, okay," and then walk away. But it was like 3 or 4 people that walked up and stayed and were asking questions. And it just like it's the magic of it where people go, like even though they might reference things like WWE, go like, oh, WWF, and go, oh, I remember the Undertaker, or the people go further back, and go, oh, I remember like my father when he first met you, and he goes, you started talking about wrestling, and he brought up Killer Carl Cox and
Yeah,
Spiros
boy.
Arion, like sharing the magic like that in the Scratch as well, our favorite bar.
The
Is,
Scratch, like the holy grail of dive bars for me, and a place very close to my heart. So
Yeah.
extra cool that we get to do all this stuff there of all places. I couldn't think of
Yeah.
anywhere more perfect.
No, it's honestly so perfect. But yeah, getting to see both these matches as well as several other matches on the night, just so magic. Because I remember we bonded really well over these matches, and especially like the Tanaka Awesome match. And I always think that is one of my favorite rewatches of all time. I think I've watched that match well over 20 times, and every single time I can watch it start to finish. It's always given me so much enjoyment, just the intensity behind it.
So good. Like their overall rivalry is just incredible as well, and that's I guess a big part of why like through Wrestling Club with I think this is officially the third of the Mike Awesome Masato Tanaka matches that we've had at Wrestling Club so far, starting with their incredible Kawasaki Stadium big ultimate FMW match, where Tanaka got his first big win of the rivalry with Gladiator bidding on his ass all the way up to that point. Then we had the ECW TV debut, so the great match that they had that was the first official like introduction point of this rivalry into ECW at the famed ECW Madhouse of Extreme, the Queen's Elk Lodge. It's just one of the most beautiful ECW venues that they ever did have. And then up to here, so there being our third and the one we're talking about today, the big pay-per-view debut. And yeah, I think overall we've, that Heatwave 98 pay-per-view, just such an incredible pay-per-view start to finish. Maybe one of the best ECW pay-per-views of all time. I definitely put it up there with like Barely Legal, or some of those later ones. Like just such a good pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get straight into it then.
Yeah, so starting off, we've got as mentioned, the big match. I mean, let's start with the Michael Awesome Tanaka one. So
I mean, we've
talking about it.
We can go back in time a little bit. We can jump back.
August 2nd, 1998, ECW had the Heatwave pay-per-view from the Hara Arena in Dayton, Ohio. A lot of people might not necessarily think of Ohio being, a home to ECW, but they did travel around quite a bit. And watching this match and this pay-per-view, this crowd is like the most ECW crowd ever, despite being in like the heart of bloody, I don't know, what, did Smoky Mountain Wrestling run Ohio? I'm not sure. But anyway, you wouldn't necessarily think of this as like a home of ECW, but man, it sure felt like it was.
I just love the fact that the crowd the crowd didn't pick favorites. They were just there for the match. They were there for the violence. They were there for like the intensity of this match. They wanted to see, they wanted to see what the two competitors were going to put forward. There's obviously Tanaka fans, there's obviously Awesome fans, but they were just like, both sides just ate this up. Like, such an amazing match.
Dude,
So
it's really cool seeing like how much like in a lot of ways you'd expect ECW fans to just be like, fuck yeah, Mike Awesome, and boo this Japanese guy. But like that was so the opposite of it, and I think a big part of it was how great a job they did in that first match at the Elks Lodge that I was mentioning before, that like really got over Tanaka as this like amazing badass, and giving him the big win, in that first ECW match of their rivalry, and then Mike Awesome giving him the big awesome bomb through the table on the outside after the match officially concluded. So I think they did a really good job of setting the table here. So both guys, like the crowd is really into both rather than just one or the other.
Yeah, they knew coming into the match the intensity that both would bring, and the fact that it was like a true rivalry between the two, as opposed to just like two wrestlers that are going to beat the living shit out of each other. There's like genuine rivalry there, which people
definitely
people
had the willing to beat the living shit out of one another part too.
Yeah, it definitely had that, but it also had that level of authenticity of them. Like, you can tell when you watch a match that there's just like some things are just spots, but then some things also done with intent and purpose, and passion as well. And this was definitely that. Like, people definitely got that. They definitely got that over to the people in the audience, and it's also the viewer behind the screen. Yeah,
I adore even like the entrances to this match too. Like both guys, just what fantastic theme music! Like Tanaka's fantastic, like classic FMW. I don't even know, just that like weird sort of classic rock that a lot of like Japanese wrestling has. Like I don't know if you describe it as like prog or what, but it's like everyone just has that like beautiful sound that I don't know. I think I personally just listen to music searching for that wonderful sound of Japanese wrestling, if you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah. And then of course Mike Awesome's music and just strutting down the ring.
So good. And it's such a crime when you rewatch a lot of this stuff. If you're watching it on the WWE Network kind of stuff, or who knows where that stuff is streaming these days. But all of those ones that you watch on there, it edited out the music and like dubbed it over with the one that they have the rights to. And man, so much a big part of like the spirit of ECW was in that like original, often unlicensed music that these guys would have. So it's very important to me when I play these at Wrestling Club that hell or high water, I will find the original entrances if I possibly can.
Yeah. Well, it's just like they came out to like awesome, what was it called? Awesome Bomb? It's like dubbed over music.
So that was the music that the ECW recorded for him. Like his
dubbed over his old
in the
stuff
later ones. Yeah, but his earlier one was, I think he had the Scorpions was his sort of like big entrance theme early on. Yeah. So good.
God, Scorpions, what a band. But yeah, all right, so they make their way to the ring. They've made their amazing entrances. They've given you the intensity. We all know what this match is going to bring about. We've seen the ECWs. They've led us to this point to get in the ring. Bring us to the lockup, Chris. Lockup.
We don't necessarily have to go move for move as much as what I mean, if you want to, but for me, the stuff that made you feel things, that's the way I'm vibing with this.
Yeah, I'm like, so this match I think is just like a perfect example of like how versatile Mike Awesome was. Like watching like a big guy move around like this, like, so we've got I could easily read this move for move because each one is like an amazing example of how this guy works. Yeah. But it's also like how Tanaka works. He's worked as well, and how Tanaka like fights back and all the points in it. Like Mike's a bigger dude. Like, there's no ifs or buts about it. Like, he's much bigger, but he's
He's a big boy.
He's so athletic. And then Tanaka is like brought into it as like, yes, he's smaller, still a muscly guy, still strong as hell, but it just brings across how resilient Tanaka is as well.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like the definition, the walking definition of like the sort of cliche of Japanese wrestling, like fighting spirit. Like he encapsulates that entire ass thing in his entire being. It's so good.
Well, there's like this, like, so the start of the match where it's like you've got this running spot, with Mike Awesome that leads to like a belly to belly, and then a slingshot shoulder block.
Fuck, I love a good slingshot shoulder block. Just the best move for a big boy like that who can
just
really
glides
move.
over the ropes though. He just effortlessly just springs over, but gives himself a little pull over the ropes, and then done. Just perfect, clean contact with Tanaka. And then that going to the outside for this, like, the world's unluckiest dive. He ends up head first under the barricade.
Can you imagine attempting that? Like, all right, I would like you to try to do a dive where somehow your head ends up underneath the barricade on the outside. Like, I don't think you could do that if you were trying.
Chris, at no point would I ever want to try to do that. If someone told me, like, right, you've got to dive directly at the floor. You've got to dive through somebody at the floor, bounce your head, and then end up perfectly under the barricade. I'd just say, no thanks, mate. I'll take my hot dog and handshake, and I'll just be going home. Thank you.
It is quite a mean match agent that would request such a thing.
Yeah, guys, we're doing this. Tanaka's like, you owe me one, dude. You got to do this.
And I'm not sure about that idea, but if you really think that's what's best for business, sir.
Yeah, it's what's best for business. Slingshots him. Slingshots him to the corner. Sorry, bro, it's what's best for business. But yeah, so we've got like they've got an amazing like top rope clothesline as well in there. So there's just like there's so much. They use the whole ring in this match, which I really love about. Like, there's a lot of big man matches where it's just occasionally they'll come off the ropes, they'll beat each other up a bit, they'll work each other in the corners. But these guys, like, they go to the top rope, they do top rope moves, they do dives. You know, they're doing like running spots and stuff as well. They're doing like as we'll get to it, like this massive like springboard clotheslines as well, which is fucking amazing.
Oh, man.
We've got, which definitely deserves the mention of the running chair
down the raised stage. I adore that era of ECW and early 90s WCW when they had the raised stage that went all the way to the ring. I think that's just such a great look. I want current company somewhere to bring that back, please. I guess we got it in CMLL. That's the one relic we got. Arena Mexico is keeping the tradition alive. But yeah, man, the visual of Tanaka just like running all the way down that long ass ramp with the chair, and then just getting a magical amount of air from when he jumps and just seems to like float for a little bit, and with the way he lifts the chair up and then just like crushes poor Mike Awesome's head with it. And then the beautiful moment of the big tree of Mike Awesome slowly falling down afterwards. It's just like, the more I watch that match, the more I love that moment. And I remember like on the night when we were watching it together at Wrestling Club, that moment got like such a good reaction out of everyone that was there too. So yeah, I of course had to memorialize that moment for the moment of the match of the week that I drew.
Yeah, it's just such a funny image to me. Like just watching Tanaka run down the entranceway and then holding it like a child holding like a boogie board before they jump into the water, like trying to catch a wave, like when they're at the beach. Just like sprinting at him. And then just jumping like a kid in the sea. But instead of a boogie board, it's a steel chair, and then instead of a wave, it's Mike Awesome's face.
So good. He deserves credit for inventing a signature way of hitting a dude with a chair, because I can't think of anyone who hit someone with a chair quite like that. I always lovingly called the way that Sabu would recklessly throw a chair at someone's face by Sabuing the chair at them. I think in the same way, this is that is how you Tanaka someone with a chair. You just run and boogie board it at their head. So good.
Yeah. I always found it fascinating, the way people use weapons, and then also how people how they make it theirs or how they make it their own. A perfect example is the sabuing with the chair is just yeeting a chair at someone's face and then watching it just knock them the fuck out. Same as this, just Tanaka jumping a chair into someone's head. It's just so fun. It's just another aspect of wrestling that makes you go for. Or when you watch wrestling and you're seeing the individual wrestle, the amount of times I've seen people pick up a steel chair and they all use it in the same way. They either give that little chair shot to the gut and then they hit him over the back, or they give a little hit over the head and the cushion pops out or something, or they lay it over the top of someone's body, or they give a little shitty little pile driver on top of the chair. We see the same things kind of rinsed and repeated, but then when you see someone who's gone to that next level, or even if it's just by accident, and then people have just connected with it, and then they've gone, you know what, the audience loved it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh yeah, the innovation, and as well, when you're talking about Tanaka, another one that he really innovated that I can't remember many other people doing as much as it's just burned into my memory of Tanaka doing those sick chair shots off the top rope. Just jumping off the top rope and clanging someone with a chair from the top rope.
Yeah.
Just fucking chef's kiss, man. So good.
Chef's kiss, Tanaka. Good work. Muy bien.
Yeah. So much dumb fun. That is the definition of this match and this rivalry, I feel. It's not necessarily the smartest, most subtle kind of wrestling, but it's just a B-movie thrill ride. It is the Rolling Thunder of wrestling rivalries.
God, who's the Tommy Lee Jones in this? The referee.
Yeah. I don't know if you needed some backup to face an army of gang, I reckon Tanaka would be pretty great backup.
Oh yeah,
Tanaka's the guy that'll just be yep, I'll leave my family to help you get revenge.
Yeah, I'll leave this bored married life with this hot wife just because I want to get up for this revenge. 100%. Oh, what a movie. What a reference.
So good. Highly recommended for any of the listeners out there that haven't seen Rolling Thunder. Terrific movie.
Such a good movie. Oh. Now I'm just thinking of Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah, so we've got, but it's not just, so there's the running chair shot in there, and then there's missile drop kicks. there's a little chair fight with a lightsaber battle that goes on towards the outside.
Classic.
Just slapping him in. Anyway, Tanaka wins that because he's a bit more of a Jedi than Mike Awesome is, but that's okay. But it's the funny thing about, well, there's so many funny things about this match, but the thing I adore about this match is the fact that they just they use all their hard-hitting offense in here. There's awesome bombs, there's Alabama slammers, there's the running chair shot thing, there's massive strikes. There's Tanaka's amazing, his corner elbow.
Oh man,
I absolutely
just
love
one of
it.
the best of all time in terms of running corner, forearm, elbow, jumping thing. No one does it better than Tanaka.
No, it's honestly I think there's so many people who just do a corner splash or something, but or corner knee. But Tanaka, the noise he gets off it, the impact he gets off it, it's such an impactful strike. And again, it's offense that's genuinely his. If anyone else did it, they would say oh, that's the Tanaka corner elbow.
Yeah, dude. Same thing. Even when I see someone do a tornado DDT, and especially with that being such a big part of the finish of this match.
Yeah.
these days, whenever I see a tornado DDT, which is like such a underutilized move, I feel like it's one of those ones where such a good move that not many people do today. It used to be like really in vogue in the kind of like early 2000s kind of period, probably when everyone saw Tanaka doing it. They're like, all right, let's rip this shit off. Jerry Lynn also did a really sick one, actually. But yeah, I was just watching even like a recent Tanaka match from last year, a sick match he had against Adam Priest, and he pulled out that tornado DDT and did it just as perfectly as he did here in like 1998. It's crazy.
Yeah. So speaking of offense that's genuinely theirs, the awesome bombs. The awesome bombs in this match, I just absolutely love. Like I've always loved like big power bombs. Like I was never a person to be able to do them. I've always been quite small, but I've always loved like taking power bombs. Like being a lighter person, and then being someone that everyone else can easily kind of like lift up, and then just absolutely dump on the ground. It's always been like an amazing thing you can sell. Like you can sell the impact of it so well. But the thing I love best about the awesome bomb is I don't
think I've ever heard someone say that they enjoy taking power bombs before. So that is a first.
Things like power bombs, things like DDTs when you can like post up. You know, any kind of big bomb move or lifting move that I can post up. Things like F5s and stuff as well. Like enjoyable. But one of the things I love about the awesome bomb is it doesn't really give you a direction to sell. It's just straight down on your neck. So I'm glad I've never taken an awesome bomb from Mike Awesome, unfortunately. But
I guess the thing is you just have no idea where you're going to land. That's probably the big thing. And also one of the deals with the power bomb that people kind of like forget about as well is when you're giving someone a power bomb, you can't see shit because all you can see is like the person's midsection because it like covers your face. So that's probably part of it. Mike Awesome didn't even know where the fuck this dude was going to end up.
I just often think that Mike Awesome forgets how tall he is, and then he starts setting him down and goes, oh, wait, their head's going to hit the ground first. Oh, well. He goes, you know what, I'll make a note of that, and I'll do it differently next time, and then just keeps losing his notes. And keeps dropping him neck first into the mat, or through the table. But also, there's that, speaking of awesome bombs, probably like one of the highlights of this match is Tanaka with the awesome bomb on Mike Awesome.
Oh, man, straight down to the outside, like one of the gnarliest bumps I've ever seen in my life, dude. All on the back of his head.
Yeah. I mean, just absolutely destroys him. But that's like, I love that where you've got the connection between the wrestlers in the match where they both go for it.
And I mean, that's a big part about the story and the lore of this rivalry too. Like I said before, how it's just sort of like dumb action movie shit, but there is like some sort of like subtlety and storytelling going on insofar as like the awesome bomb and whoever's going to be able to power bomb the other guy through that table on the outside is almost as if not more important than getting the win. Like, that is the big part of, like, when Tanaka was first able to do that to Mike Awesome in that big Kawasaki Stadium match that they had in FMW. That was, like, a massive part of him, getting his win kind of thing. And then we see it continued here. And man, just seeing such a smaller powerhouse do it to such a massive guy, it is just a very incredible thing to see.
Yeah. Just seeing Tanaka like the razor's edge lift up for Awesome, and then just because at no point do you ever think, oh, he's got him up high enough. Like you just watch it and you go like, he's too low. Fuck. And then just watching him go through the table, watching him like go to the floor like that, like amazing.
One of the other parts that I feel like you like thinking about it now, of Tanaka, doing the awesome bomb to Mike Awesome to the outside through the table. He does it various points during their rivalry, like from that FMW match, big part of this match, and then like even like to like one of their last matches at that like ECW reunion, like pay-per-view that they had at Hammerstein. He does it to him there too. Every single time Mike Awesome takes just a gnarly bump on the back of his head.
Yeah.
Does he learn? No.
No, but
And
I
I
love
think
how
that's
they
to
bring
be
the table
respected.
into it. I love how they bring the table into it every single time. It's like
Oh, yeah.
a callback, and that's a reward for people who have like. It's obviously a reward for people seeing it for the first time. They go, "Holy shit, that's crazy!" Like that was amazing. And then it's also a reward from people who have watched these matches, getting, they get to sit there and go like, "Oh, who's going through it this time?" Like,
Yes.
it's like the smoking gun. It's the Chekhov's gun thing where they've set up this table and everyone gets to sit there and go like, "Oh, who's going through it this time?" And they set it up like quite early in the match, like quite a lot earlier in the match, and it's just sitting there, just teasing you for the whole match, and eventually, it's poor Mike Awesome that goes through it yet again.
So good.
I respect it. I respect the fact that they set it up every single time.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a good reward. Yeah.
I have so much love for this. It's like, honestly, a lot of people say, greatest, their favorite match of the entire Mike Awesome versus Masato Tanaka rivalry. I think I'll have to complete my rewatch of the whole rivalry to make that big time call. But man, like, just as a standalone thing, even if you haven't seen any of the other matches, and this is the only like Tanaka versus Awesome match that you see, if you just happen to be in the scratch that week, if you're drinking a beer and be like, "Oh, what's this then? This is professional wrestling, I guess." Then yeah. I think that is a great representation.
Even giving yourself a reward and then watching all the matches like back to back, just so you can see the history of it, so it's fresh in your mind and you can make the comparisons as you go. Like, treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself. This is the fine cognac of professional wrestling right here.
It is. It's a very, very harsh rice wine whiskey. Or rice whiskey. All right, and speaking of amazing matches.
Oh yeah, and now we get to the one. So the Awesome versus Tanaka opened the evening.
It's Kelly Clarkson here to talk all things Wayfair, the best place to buy furniture, decor, and anything else you can think of to create a home you absolutely love. I know when I shop with Wayfair, I find options for every style, whether I'm feeling boho or farmhouse, modern, traditional, French country. I can find exactly what I need for my home and more. No matter your space, style, or budget, shop Wayfair.com to make your home way more you.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Of the wrestling club that was. So that was the first thing that I played. So getting things off to a hot start. Then we concluded it with one of both of our favourite matches of all time. One of the all-time great grumpy dad versus young disrespectful punk matches that has ever happened. That being the 96th match of the week. KENTA versus Genichiro Tenryu from Noah's Autumn Navigation 2005 tour, October 8th, 2005 at Korakuen Hall. This match wasn't necessarily here for a long time, but it was here for a bloody good time.
It was here for a good time. You know what else was here for a good time during the night of Wrestling Club?
What was that?
Thunder in Paradise.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah, that was like one of the other things. I normally try to drip feed something through the night, so it rewards people for staying there for 3 hours of wrestling or whatever it is. On this night, it was my Hulk Hogan tribute. That was Thunder in Paradise and his episode culminating in him having a fight on the beach with Sting. And damn, that was a good time.
Oh yeah. The drip feed was definitely worth it. A lot of people just sitting there going like, "What show is this? Is this a lead up to something? Is this is this before a show? Is this before like a WWF show? Or is this before like a territory show or something?" It's just like, nope, this is Hulk Hogan's show. Thunder in Paradise.
If someone tells you that Hulk Hogan was not a great actor, man, Thunder in Paradise, come on.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad we've got proof to the contrary. You think he's a bad actor? Watch this. No, I'm fairly sure I'm still right. Oh, bless him. Bless him for trying.
So good.
Great
man. Yeah, we
Right.
definitely, whenever you are back, my friend, we need to get that Thunder in Paradise rewatch fired up one night. Let's watch every Thunder in Paradise that there ever was. Have some edibles. This will be a nice time.
I mean, just everything Thunder. Thunder in Paradise, Rolling Thunder, Tropic Thunder. Just get them all in. Get them all in there.
Just jam it with like every WCW Thunder that ever took place as well. This will be a long night.
Yeah, just pop it on there. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It's a good one. I'll pop that in there.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so speaking of old grumpy men and then young arrogant little fuckwits, we've got Kenta and Tenryu. The thing I think about when I think about this match is, when we recorded this the first time, this was like the first thing that jumped into my mind. When you watch this match, depending on what stage you are in life, is how you feel about each of the people. When you're young, you're relating more to Kenta. You've got the energy. Fucking hate old people. They're always getting in your way. They're always giving you bedtimes. They're always telling you what to eat. Can't have ice cream for dinner. You can't have ice cream for breakfast. You can't do this with your money. You can't do that. You can't be a little rebel.
Stop telling me what to do, old man.
Yeah, stop telling me what to do, old man. You're not my dad. And then as you get older, you relate more to Tenryu, which is like, who is this little punk and why is he acting out? Like, what's this kid's problem? Taking wild little swings at me, this little shit. Like, I'm going to have to put him in his place. And then that's my thoughts on this match. It's just, when you're young, you're the Kenta. And as you get older, you eventually become the Tenryu. And then it's realizing that you've matured is when you become the Tenryu.
Dude, I think I've done it. I think I officially now am at the point where I'm just angry enough at all of the young people and just fed up. I think I'm officially at Tenryu stage in so many social situations here. So I get it. I think I've done the journey, man.
It comes for us all. We all eventually Tenryu. We all eventually melt out in the sun like little wax candles.
We'll get a sweet like Jerry curl fro. Like, man, just Tenryu's entire look is just so wonderful. There's a lot of wrestlers that just have a unique look to them that's just so distinctly them, and that is Tenryu to a T, and just looking pissed off the entire way through. I feel like that's something maybe he passed down to Kawada, now that I think about it. Two of the few wrestlers that I think I've never seen smile in my life.
No, I don't. But that's it. Where maybe when we look at them now, when we're older, we know why they're not smiling. It's because they've had to deal with generations of these young little shits coming through. And they were Kenta. At one point, they were the Kenta.
Yes.
And then now they're all the Tenryus. They've matured, and they're just sick of these little shits having tantrums in the grocery aisle. But
it's like they're pissed off that they're even having to be there. That's one of my favourite parts of Tenryu in this match. Yeah. He just seems irritated that he even has to like be there for this match. He's like, I could be gardening. I could be like having a nice like dinner with the wife. Instead, I'm here having to deal with this disrespectful little shit. And I guess I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, he's come all the way down from HR. He said, he's got this problem in the workforce he's got to deal with. But yeah, so we've got a lot of points in this match, which kind of reflect what we've been talking about. Kenta's attitude and Tenryu's like inability to take any of it. Like, Tenryu just has not got time for Kenta. Especially in this match, he has not got time. Like, even the opening of the match, the very first thing that happens in the match, bell rings, and Kenta sprints at him, and Tenryu just fucking hits him, just square punch. Tenryu's been on the block.
If you could capture in like maybe 1 second, just in a GIF form, this match, like just summarize this match in like a 1 second GIF. That is the moment. Just like sprinting at him, no respect from the start, and Tenryu responding by punching him in the face midair. So good.
Yeah, just absolutely, just the disrespect of Kenta even trying to enter this man's space. You know, Tenryu knows what's up. He knows how to treat little thugs like this.
And it's like a big part of it is that there's threaded through the match. In addition to Tenryu's surly grumpiness, is the fact that yes, Kenta has no respect, but he is out to prove himself. You know, he's like, I might not be getting the win here, but I am sure as heck going to make this as painful as possible and just draw this out as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, well,
it's just
throughout the
so
match,
good.
Kenta takes like an absolute beating here. Like he's worked around the ring. He's given like the stiff arm clotheslines from Tenryu. The chops as well.
Such heavy chops. The chops
heavy
are
chop.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something so great about just like a heavy old man chop. It just feels like such, like that thing of like what they say, like the difference between a chop that makes like a big sound versus those ones that are just more of a heavy thud. This is the heavy thud variation.
Oh, it just resonates. It just hits Kenta's bones and they just resound like a wind chime, just rattling through his body. But that's it. Like through this whole match, Tenryu is just like laying it in. He's not using the speed that Kenta's using. Kenta's coming at him with strikes and flurries. And our favorite strike, the corner double Mongolian fist.
Man, the crowd goes nuts for that. Like we have so much like sweet Kenta offense in this match. And just really rude kicks. There's a point where he just like kicks old man Tenryu like in the head real hard and disrespectfully. Where I was just like, oh shit! Like you expect like the young guy to, all right, he's clearly like this dude's in his 50s. Don't go like too ham on him. Instead, he's just like, you know what, old man, I'm just gonna kick you in the head. But then, obviously the crowd loses their shit for that. But then in this bit where he has him in the corner and just does like the sweetest, stiffest Mongolian chop that I've ever seen. And I remember when I was watching this at the scratch with you, that moment giving me a particular amount of joy as well.
Yeah. Just really but that's it. The throughout this match, you're going to realize that Kenta has to lay it in. So it's not just funny watching him kind of. He's not actually just throwing a tantrum and just getting angry at this old man. He's in this state where he genuinely has to lay it in. He knows his time in the ring is limited with Tenryu because the guy's like Tenryu's an absolute powerhouse.
And like at this point as well, like in terms of their overall positioning, Kenta as like a young dude who Noah clearly sees and Misawa clearly sees a lot of like potential in, and they're already kind of like going with him to even like put him in a match with a guy like Tenryu, who was just kind of like, I don't think he was working like full time for Noah at this point. He just kind of like came in and did a few matches there. But Tenryu at this point seen as like a first ballot like Hall of Famer from just like an incredible career. So it was like a massive moment for Kenta to be having a singles match on a show like this against Tenryu. So he really has to like make the most of it. And sure, he might not be getting the win, but he shouldn't be. As like a young dude against like a massive legend like Tenryu. But man, he made every moment of it absolutely worth it. And I think the whole thing was like just laying that shit in so much harder than you would expect.
Well, you have to. Like that's what makes the match so incredible is when Kenta's going for it, he just puts his fatigue to the back of his mind and just like whenever there's an opening, he loads in the strikes. There's a point here where he does 2 consecutive springboard drop kicks because he like first one works and he goes, oh, that worked, let's go for it again.
So good.
He has to get the strikes in because he's been worked over all match by Tenryu, someone who can afford to work slower and work smarter, because he just breaks Kenta down. Like at one point, he throws a table at him.
Man, hey, that we could add that to the signature weapon things of different guys. The way that Tenryu just grumpily throws tables at people, so
Just not.
good.
I
I think he did the same thing in that match that we watched with him against Ricky Choshu. That was maybe around this period of time as well. Just like hurls that table at him with no regard for where the table's going to go afterwards, whether it's going to hit a fan or who knows what.
No, but one of the best bits about it is that he picks up the table and then neatly puts it back.
Yeah.
Puts it back where it came from, and then he slaps the top of it. He goes, "There you go. There's your table back." He goes, "Oh, nice. Hasn't gone anywhere." But these
If you're polite to Tenryu, he'll be polite back.
It's mutual respect. Yeah, just don't run at him at the start of a match, and you'll be fine. But yeah, this match is just a big is just one big proof of don't fuck with older people. Just like this is a big thing where just like you never truly understand it until you see it. Respect your elders because they might throw a fucking table at you. Okay, you can come at them, you can throw a tantrum at them, you can do what you want, but at the end of the day, they'll be standing.
Oh man,
And
so great.
You'll cop a table in the back.
It's just that as well, like all of Tenryu's punches through it are just so good. All of his offense, like those really like short, powerful, clotheslines.
Yeah,
but yeah, especially like that. There's one towards the end when they get into like a strike exchange, and Kenta really gives it to him, and then Tenryu just responds with just a series of really painful looking punches to his face, and that was what I chose for the big moment of the match, for the illustration of Kenta's blood, like because he's bleeding from the lip, or I don't know if it's from the nose, or I assume the lip, probably the lip, the amount that he punches him in the mouth.
Yeah. But he hits him with like 3 of those punches consecutively. And then it's really short arm clotheslines as well. And they're all measured. Like that's what we love about Tenryu in this match is he's measuring everything out. Nothing's chaotic. He's working Kenta into the mat. He's keeping him still. And then whenever Kenta kind of gets the space and the distance, he just fires off, and he's firing off like as many strikes as he can. He's going for the head with those kicks as well. The drop kicks and stuff. He's hitting him at a really high angle. And it makes you think at any point, like, oh, does Kenta have enough to take this over the line? It's a really entertaining match in that aspect.
I think anytime you have a match like this where it's like you clearly are like, okay, this is the absolute legend and this is the young guy, you kind of like assume how it's going to go. And the amount that this actually like makes you like, oh shit, Kenta could actually get this done.
Yeah.
Like that is really the magic of it. And just seeing the amount of absolute pain that he has put through attempting to do so is just a joyous thing for a fan of sadomasochism, I guess.
But it's also, we've seen matches like this before where the young boy does go over and it's a big passing of the torch moment. So you never know when you're going to get them, but you always know those matches have like a next level of intensity about them. And this was one of them. Like I was watching it and just thinking like, oh, like first time I saw it, I was like, oh, well, like, it was a bit before I started wrestling is when this first aired, but quite a bit before I started watching wrestling. But it was only, it was 3 years after I was born.
Wow.
So we're crazy. But you're watching this moment where you think like, oh, this guy could actually go over the line. He could take it over the line here. Like if it goes for long enough, and then because Kenta's points throughout this match where he's getting his offense in are getting longer and longer and getting like closer and closer in between each one. So Tenryu's trying to measure it out, take him to the floor, but the long game is not in Tenryu's favor. Like eventually it's going to come back to hurt him. But then you see Tenryu just like absolutely finish it off with a big bomb and a lariat. and
So
eventually
great.
just ends it. But it takes a lot to put Kenta down. But this match, you see how two people work on opposite sides of the spectrum. Like the gruff old dude who works in a measured sense, works with his power. He knows what his positive attributes are. And then you've got Kenta on the other side who thinks he's got all the time in the world, but he needs to make every second here count. Like he knows if he can take it long enough, he'll win. But he's just got to get the intensity in there. He's got to burn the old guy out by just hitting with everything he can when he can. And I think this match is like perfectly planned out. I really enjoy it.
It's such a great story.
Yeah.
I think it's really like the perfect definition of like when you're doing that thing of like, all right, so this guy isn't necessarily getting the win, but he's going to be elevated in losing to like the legend. Like, this is the definition of doing that. And like to me, this was like such a key part of Kenta's story and Kenta's like rise through this period. Through this, like the amazing prime of Kenta, during this time, and then a little bit after it in Noah, of course, but then also like his amazing matches in Ring of Honor. There's matches with bloody Bryan Danielson and like, man, just so much wonderful shit. So it was like so interesting to look at this as a point of him really like taking off.
Yeah, it's extremely enjoyable. Give it a watch.
Definitely on anyone's best of Kenta comp, you should definitely have this match on there, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%.
Really tells you about how he became the person that he ended up becoming. It's like, oh, did this match make him an asshole? No, I think he was an asshole before that, but it definitely probably didn't help.
Yeah.
And now we come on to a match with another asshole. And if you're talking about sadomasochism, I think this match also really hits that button. We're still in Pro Wrestling Noah, but we fast forward quite a few years to May 22nd of 2024. It was Noah's excellent Star Navigation 2024 One Night Dream 2 event, the second of those that they'd done at a sold-out Korakuen Hall. It is KENOH and Minoru Suzuki in what I would say is a dream match. I mean, at this point, Minoru Suzuki in no way has done anything in Noah for quite a while. So it's sort of a special opponent coming in to wrestle KENOH in a match that I think a lot of people never thought that they would ever get. And I feel, given, like where Minoru Suzuki is at in life and age and everything like that, this, like, by far exceeded my expectations. I loved everything about this match. The blood, the visuals throughout, like, this was wild. What were your initial impressions?
Well, I love the match purely because it was KENOH and Suzuki. If anyone else had done this, I would have been so pissed off.
Why?
But it was just like, I love the blood. I love the intensity of it. But I'm really not a fan of like prolonged standoffs unless the characters are there. Like unless that is what their thing is in wrestling. But because it's Minoru Suzuki and because it's KENOH, like this is what they will do. They're two incredibly tough guys, and this is their character. They're always tougher than the other guy. Like Minoru Suzuki, like phenomenal, like legendary endurance against KENOH, which is like legendary arrogance. Like you can't keep the other guy down purely just through brute force. Like you're gonna have to take it to the next level in order to kind of keep the guy down. Which is amazing.
Similarities between them as well, I think. Like when you're saying that, like I'd also say like, two of the all-time greatest like strikers in professional wrestling. And also just like two of the most like legendary assholes in all of professional wrestling. Like, that's really one of the things that both these guys do so well. They're just such dickheads. And then getting to see the dickheads like face off, and then I guess maybe the story of this is it that Minoru Suzuki ultimately is the bigger dickhead, but that Kenoh will not, will not stop in the face of that. I'm not sure, but it was fascinating to watch.
Yeah. As you said before, like two amazing strikers. Like you get to watch the forearms go against the kicks. Like you build up to the point where, so Kenoh isn't just throwing kicks left, right, and center. He's measuring them, and he wants to stand up to Suzuki and play Suzuki's game and prove that he's better at it. But at some point, he transitions over to the kicks because originally he's just using the forearms. But everyone knows about Suzuki's forearms, like the noise you get off them, the impact. Like when you're watching it on the TV and you see the sweat fly out from it, from the impact of it.
So good.
You can't compare that to any other wrestler. Like Suzuki has some of the best forearms in the game. Just the intensity in which he hits them with. Like
for me, it's like Suzuki and Misawa. That's the two. I mean, we were just talking about Masato Tanaka. Also had some incredible forearms. But in terms of that like face-to-face striking kind of thing, and that real measured kind of like slow. All right, here's a forearm that's clearly going to make a lot of sound and hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Suzuki is the king for a reason.
Yeah. The match. This match is there's a lot of working involved, like just beating down both of them, standing up in the center of the ring, trying to stand up to each other, and just strike off. Like I'd say, easily 80% of this match is just like striking off in the center of the ring. It's intense. The audience are into it. Like as a person like who loves both of these wrestlers, again, if it wasn't these two guys, I wouldn't be as into it. But
I get what you mean now, because I think you're right. Like the big personalities and like the testing of wills side of it, I think is a big part of it. And the fact, like you're saying, like before Kenoh goes to his wheelhouse, that is the kicks, he is trying to like meet Suzuki with like forearm to forearm. Before working out, okay, my forearms don't quite have the sauce on them that old man Suzuki's have, so it's time to bring out the kicks.
Yeah, but it's great to watch in that sense, because you like if you don't know the outcome of the match and you're sitting there watching it, you do genuinely want to know who wins, because it's Minoru Suzuki knows he's got like the best forearms, and he knows the impact. The audience know that he's like his forearms are something for things that have like ended matches, like just him watching knock someone the fuck out. Versus Kenoh, who's just so unbelievably arrogant, just standing up to it. You do genuinely want to watch it and find out who it is. Like you don't really mind how long the strike exchange goes for, because you want to know, like, oh, actually, I don't, I want to see who comes out on top of this. Which I think is like, it's really cool to watch, like, as a fan of both of these wrestlers, is seeing, it's like being asked the questions, just like unstoppable force meets immovable object. It is one of those matches where you're watching it and you're just like, oh, both of these guys are notorious for doing like, stand-up strike-offs, and then testing the other person that they're going up against. And then you get to see them test each other in this sense. Sometimes you see Kenoh's kicks land and they absolutely rock Suzuki. Most of the time we're seeing Suzuki's forearms land and they absolutely rock Kenoh.
Yeah. And similar dynamic, I think, to what we were talking about just before. It's kind of interesting that we've got this match, in the same chat that we're talking about the Tenryu KENTA. Because, a little bit of a similar dynamic in terms of like the real legend that is Suzuki versus, I think, Kenoh is probably a bit more advanced here than where Kenta was at in his match with Tenryu. By comparison in terms of like where they were in their career. I think, like Kenoh has for a long time been one of the best in the world. and I have a lot of love for Kenoh, like even going back to his stuff in Michinoku Pro. But yeah, it's like interesting to watch in that I think Suzuki probably takes a good portion of the match of just beating his ass.
Yeah.
So it builds Suzuki up as this like top level like video game boss, you know?
Yeah.
So then when Kenoh finally gets the big win with his big stomp, it feels like he's really accomplished something significant rather than if they just had a match that was kind of like 50-50 like we see so much of these days.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like he had to really fight his way back. And he kind of fought his way out from under Suzuki's dominance, I suppose. Like Suzuki was adamant that he was going to end him with either end him with the choke or end him with the forearms, but like work him down to the point where he could just like roll over the top of him. But you know, Kenoh coming back and proving like why Kenoh is one of the most entertaining people to watch, in my opinion, is the guy just doesn't give up. He can take an absolute beating. He just does not stop.
And he's always been great against older dudes. Like I'm having flashbacks now as well to his awesome matches that he had with Masakatsu Funaki as well. Who, you know, a contemporary of Suzuki, going back to you know, Pancrase.
Yeah.
And Fujiwara Gumi and all that good shoot style stuff. So I guess it makes sense that Kenoh would have an awesome match against like the kind of shooter old man kind of deal.
Yeah. Like he's no stranger to it. Like absolutely no stranger to like to hard hitting and to shoot style wrestlers, as well as being like a cool having the shoot style repertoire himself. But this is really played up in this match where they're going strike for strike, trying to beat each other down, trying to prove that, you know, they can stand up to each other. And then also like the pride that plays into it as well. Like a lot of it is pride, which is really, really cool. I love seeing that. I love seeing that out of wrestlers, especially like as I said before, if it was anyone else, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But because it is these two, and you're seeing that they're putting the pride on the line, like one like striking legend to another. It is really entertaining. Like it is genuinely entertaining because you're sitting there watching and you're just thinking like, oh, I really want to know who wins this. I really want to know who comes out on top and what they do to come out on top, like what the tipping point is.
It's such a good match, and one that I think definitely didn't get nearly enough talk that it deserved last year. I saw a couple of my other people that I know that are fellow Noah fans, but outside of that, it wasn't like this. You know, got into the bubble of other people talking about their favorite matches of the year. But I look at this and I'm like, man, that was definitely one of my favorite matches of 2024. And like I think that the submission portion of it was also like really fantastic, and I'm really glad that we got that. Like because both guys actually fantastic like submission wrestlers in addition to being great strikers. Yeah.
Well, just like all around, like again, like the shoot style wrestling coming into it. But I think this is one thing that like Noah does better than anything else, does better than anyone else, is like showing that wrestlers are fighters. 100%. Like it's got to be my favorite company for that. Not that you can have a favorite child, but yes, you can. But it's just showing that wrestlers are fighters, showing that it's not just hokey. It's not just like you can have hokey stuff in wrestling. You can have your fun in wrestling. You can have your entertainment that's spruced throughout it. That's fine, but like at the end of the day, these people are tough people who sacrifice a lot to be in that ring, who like give up a lot of their bodies and like a lot of their health to get in that ring. And then this is like a match where you see how strong these people truly are, because you can't fake the impact of these strikes. Like they're absolutely throwing them. Like there's no padding on that forearm that Suzuki's throwing into it. There's no faking the gravity that Kenoh's coming down with, like with his fucking absolute dick double stomps. what is it? What does he call it? The final double stomp or final?
The professional foot stomp.
Yeah, that's it. Professional foot stomp. There's nothing amateur about it. It's a professional foot stomp.
That's the height of professionalism right there. If you're
Exactly.
a contract killer,
he's on the clock doing it. He's getting paid by the foot stomp, not the hour.
Oh man, and it's funny you say that about like professional wrestlers being fighters, because in another generation that was like what New Japan was known for. Especially in like the 90s and early 2000s period, and even like the 80s as well. Like all that time where I actually like think New Japan was at its best. With like Inokiism, which is a bit of a controversial kind of term, and a lot of people look at it as like the dark days of New Japan. Dickheads, mind you. But like that was when New Japan was known for like having the guys that were shooters, as well. And look at a guy like Hashimoto, or a guy like Yuji Nagata, or a guy like Murakami or Shibata. And it was, or Nakamura, for that matter. Like these were all guys that were shooters as well as professional wrestlers, and they really carried that like thing when Pride was popping off, or when UWFI was doing crazy cool shit in the 90s. Like they showed, I guess, that like pro wrestling can be a really strong thing that's to be respected. And then, I think in that way, New Japan is probably moved away from that a lot. But it's good to see that is being done somewhere. Because I really, obviously really love shoot-style wrestling. But even like getting away from strictly defined shoot-style wrestling in a match like this that has a bit more of a pro wrestling kind of drama element to it. I think that's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, it's bringing aspects of both into the same ring, which is really, really nice. Which you don't see a lot of, like, how, so like, obviously, things like WWE going to Netflix has popularized it again, or made it, it's been popular, but bring it up. And I know a lot of people who have just gotten back into it because of its access to Netflix, or your accessibility of it because of Netflix. And then they watch that and they have a conversation with me about it. And I go like, oh, well, if you like that, try watching this. And they go, oh, no, that's too hard to get hold of. I'm not going to bother. But you think to yourself, or you say to them, like, it's worth it. Like, give it a watch. Like, you might really like it. But they just want to, like, a lot of people just want to see the hokey behind it, or the small entertainment or soap opera aspect behind it. Which is fine. It's their time. They can be entertained how they want. Like, as long as you're getting yourself into wrestling, it's a good idea.
I mean, I think a good thing is like that there is variety, because like to me, I love all sorts of wrestling. Like obviously, I like this, more physical, like realistic kind of stuff. But at the same time, like I love, like dumb over the top drama matches and like, Roddy Piper and like Mr. Perfect and shit. I love some Ultimate Warrior matches, like that's the cool thing about professional wrestling. There's like so many different flavors of it. And I think, the variety that there is one of the coolest things. So, even if there are people that just want to, watch like WWE, or, like they were just big WWF fans back in the day, like whatever it is that you like, I think that's a good thing. But I think there's something special about, putting in the effort, like you're saying, to, all right, it might not be the easiest to find, but for like broadening your horizons and going down some different rabbit holes of interesting kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then going down these rabbit holes, if you're not capable of doing it yourself, or you don't feel like doing it yourself, you know where you can go? To the Scratch, to the wrestling club, where there's a gentleman there who will do it all for you. And you'll be able to get a delicious pint while you're there.
There you go. Heck of a plug ski there. Thank you.
There you go.
Finally, I wanted to also draw attention to, I mentioned it earlier, but the blood in this match was so good. And the visual of the guy beating the other dude's ass whilst just being covered in his own blood just made Suzuki look like even more of a badass than he already is. Like, I don't even know what it was. Was it like a chair or something? But man, he just started bleeding and was just covered in blood, and it really added something to this match, especially from like a visual perspective.
Yeah, I don't know whether it happened on the outside or happened on like the edge of the barricade or on a chair or something. But the amount of blood that came out of him was quite phenomenal. But just the entire time, like when he's like wiping his hand over it and he's licking his own blood off his hand, like the visual aspect of like Minoru Suzuki just like licking blood is pretty cool. It's seeing that and then just continuing going like, physically, you've cut me open, but it's not going to do anything. It's not going to stop me.
Yeah, he's like a demon, like the in that awesome Kawada versus Taue match, the birth of like the holy demon army, and Taue just looking like an absolute demon, like covered in blood. Like that's definitely Suzuki here, and that was this was so hard to pick the actual like moment to draw for the match of the week illustration, but ended up going for one when he like had him on the outside by the rail, his leg halting and picking up Kenoh to continue kicking his ass, and he just has a moment where he pauses, looks at the camera, and just kind of like poses. Just looking like such a cool badass motherfucker. And I was like, man, I need to I need to memorialize this moment forever.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful visual.
Yeah, truly is a thing of magic.
But yeah, thanks, dude. I had a lot of fun talking about these couple matches. Hopefully, the recording successfully makes it into an actual podcast this time. But I appreciate your time, man.
No, I appreciate you, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, my honor. As I said, brought me so much joy to get you have you there in person for that wrestling club, and yeah, man, always love getting to chop it up with you on this podcast as a little excuse for us to reconnect.
Hell yeah, brother, I'm into it as well.
Yeah. All right, thanks, man. I'll let you get off to work, I guess.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, thanks, everyone.
Alrighty, there we are. What a lovely chat between two big old wrestling nerds. Had some wonderful matches. I had a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed listening on the periphery to that. I thought I'd add a little thing in here. So a lot of the time when I'm like having this match of the week chats, I'm I not necessarily thinking about the illustration as much as really just geeking out about the match. So I thought I'd take a little moment, jump back into it, and look at a couple of these. If this is meant to be about wrestling art, I should probably talk about the art a little bit. If you do jump on christhings.com.au and have a look at these match of the week illustrations here, so first of all, the Kenta versus Tenryu one. This was one that I did, I believe, in the days leading up to David actually like coming over here and us getting to hang out. When I'd already planned to put this on at a wrestling club, and when I watched it just to sort of like double check, man, I fell in love with this all over again, and it clearly became my match of the week that week, and the best, the thing that I got the most joy from. But in terms of that moment, as I mentioned in the podcast, that it's tremendous, just plodding, grumpy, surly Tenryu punches. Just such a magical thing. So I went through the match, and you have a few different screen grabs of the way through, and this is really like from that right finishing stretch. The moment I was really sort of doing that frame by frame, like what's the exact kind of thing, and then sometimes I kind of like take a little bit of this frame and a little bit of that frame and merge some sort of like bits together to get the best of both worlds and to sort of like capture that moment from an emotional kind of standpoint. I also embellish here or there a little bit, like when you watch the actual match, there isn't necessarily like this massive spurt of blood that's flowing out of Kenta's mouth, but I think it captures the emotional context of it at the coolness of the moment. But yeah, that bright pink blood flying out of his mouth, and then of course the background for me was important to have that kind of like minty green hue. When I think of Noah, I always think of green, the emerald green that was Misawa, the founder of Pro Wrestling Noah. So it's a lot of the time when I do these Noah matches, I always try to have like a sort of like a green element there. As that sort of like Noah love letter, I guess. And getting on to the Tanaka versus Mike Awesome Heatwave match. Again, as I mentioned on the chat with David, like that running down the ramp, big chair shot, which is such a cool visual and just really stays with me. It's one of the first things I think of when I think of that match, and I think that might be similar to some other people. So yeah, I was just really trying to capture the energy of that, the energy of Tanaka kind of flying through the air, and that movement. I guess with that again, sort of like these artists, we have kind of like signatures, and mine, I guess, as someone who really loves like lowbrow kind of art, there's always a sweat component going on with a lot of my my illustrations. And so yeah, Tanaka just got that like sweat flying off of him as he dives through the air. And yeah, I guess in terms of a color scheme, I was kind of just trying to capture the thing of a heat wave of this crazy hot match, and yeah, the red bright background, Tanaka's classic like fire trunks. Mike Awesome's delightful mullet is always a great thing to draw as well. And yeah, I did the same thing where I did like frame by frame, picking that exact right moment of the thing. And there was a bit where Mike just had this like look on his face, this grimace of like what was to come. I probably exaggerated that a little bit, but yeah, man, it was very fun to do. Yeah, it seems like that connected with a bunch of other people's love and adoration of that wonderful match too, which made me very happy. And then we had the Minoru Suzuki versus KENOH illustration. Again, this one was a little bit different. I chose a moment when they were on the outside, so we had like sort of the guardrail, and actually like sometimes I'll not really do much for the background, or just have a color, or like a darkened kind of thing, and the focus is on the in-ring. But being on the outside, I thought I should probably like lean in a little bit to the crowd. So I gave like sort of a little bit of a drawing and a sketch of a few of those kind of crowd members in there. And my favorite, if you look at the illustration, the guy on the right, when I was looking at the screen grabs that I took at this match, is wearing a Bobo Brazil t-shirt. Guy at a 2024 Pro Wrestling Noah show is wearing a Bobo Brazil t-shirt. That really stayed with me, so I made sure to include that in there. But yeah, man, like I said, just that visual of Suzuki just covered in blood, just tossing KENOH around, and just taking a moment to look at that camera. I just like, this is so great. And then yeah, like I sometimes do, I'll play with different kind of color skin tones. Sometimes I do more realistic kind of like skin tones. Other times I go a little bit wacky. This is probably a bit more on the wacky front with Suzuki with that kind of like purple hue, and KENOH with the green. I like the green. It kind of like offsets the blood of Suzuki, like a nice contrast between them. But yeah, I was quite happy with that one, and like some of these real distinctive characters that we were saying in wrestling with distinctive looks. Both Kenoh and Suzuki, two very distinctive looking dudes, so that's always a fun thing from an artist perspective. So that's my little inside the artist studio chat about the matches. I don't know if this is something I'll continue or not, but I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys today. This is quite an enjoyable episode for me. Nice also just to know we actually got this recorded, and yeah, we'll have some catching up to do with the more recent matches of the week, I guess. But I hope you guys had a nice time. I'd like to thank you for listening, for your attention, for the support of everyone who does, make a purchase or commission me to make things, or helping me in my art journey in any way. I really appreciate you. Even people just who are supportive and share the things and say nice things. It really helps. From a artist perspective and staying like positive with things, and it's a roller coaster of a ride sometimes, guys. So just know that even those little nice comments go a long way. So thanks so much. I'd also like to say a big thank you to the great team at Social Suplex, socialsuplex.com, the home of this podcast, as well as a variety of other rad wrestling podcasts, from One Nation Radio to Keeping It Strong Style, Imp's WWE Adventure, All Things Elite, the AEW Match Recommendation podcast, Trish and Sarah podcast, Tunnel Talk. They got all the things, and they do a great job. And they even, give us a little bit of advertising money, which I really appreciate. I'm not really a starving artist. I eat, so don't have to get kind of that level of sympathy. But no, either way, it's appreciated when I can have a coffee comped here and there. I really, really appreciate it. So thanks so much, Social Suplex, and thanks also anyone who donates to the show. Whenever I see those come through, it puts a big old smile on my dial. So thank you. I've just gotta get all set up for this weekend. I gotta make sure I got all my things, make sure I don't forget anything for the big weekend of shows. It's quite a drive down from the hills of the Sunshine Coast down to Brisbane these days, so I always stress out that I'm gonna forget something. So knock on wood that does not happen, but we'll see how we go. And then I got another match of the week to do tonight for our Big Friday, so I got some things to do. I'll let you guys get to it, but I will see you next week. I hope you guys have a great week. This has been Wrestling Art with Chris Things. Take care. Enjoy.